Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason, where today we're taking a look at a game that was played on Supreme Isthmus but happens to feature the Space Force. Yes, that's right, as I've probably already clickbaited this video, we're going to be taking a look at a mod that has been developed by members of the community, and we got a chance to take a look at this last weekend during the live stream. Normally 12 to 4 PDT, in case you're interested in joining us on Saturdays. Feel free to join the Discord as well for actual live updates as to when we're going to be going live on that channel. We're on YouTube and Twitch, which is actually awesome. It means we get to have the best of both worlds. And it was a lot of fun. It was a really, really cool mod, and so I was very excited when I got sent this replay that featured the mod, because a lot of the games that we played were, well, we already saw them, right? So I wanted to cover something fresh. And so hopefully today we get a good look at exactly what happened on this match that was sent on over. So without further ado, our red team leader spawning right here is an Armada commander spawning right in front of us right now. It's gonna be none other than Andy. Andy, the red Armada commander, now going into a little bit of a bot lab, spawning in the backline position here, spawning in the air position, will be going for, well, not air, because the other thing about this match is there was a little bit of a gentleman's agreement not to go for any air forces, because if you disable air, it actually disables the space units. So instead, these commanders are just going to be, agreeing not to use air and instead going into space forces at their leisure here. Now, Space Force is a T2 category. It starts at T2 and then goes to T3 eventually, so it means that you have to go up the tech ladder a little bit here. So basically what I'm expecting is a little bit of eco greed. Probably going for something like either E-converter spam or going for a commie lab with the other tech player. We'll just have to wait and find out right here. But spawning on the other side of the map is the blue team leader. It's going to be none other than Lord Jamakis, the blue Armada commander, walking forward right here and spawning on the Navy lane. Going to be playing on the southern side and walking that commander towards the, well, the water line here as we take a look at this commander that is beautifully taking a walk through the clovers. Kind of relaxing when you get down to a human perspective in this game. Anywho, Supreme Isthmus, not a map that I feel I have to introduce, but we do have Luda out on the front line reclaiming a whole bunch of metal, actually. We've got the commander and a resbot sending metal back. We do have a construction tower, so at the very least we're going to be spending that metal, which is really nice to see. And of course we need the energy as well, but there we go. We're going to start spamming out Decurions. Alright, good stuff. Oh, it's actually the hot pink commander that's reclaiming right here. Okay, so Luda reclaiming a little bit, but mainly the hot pink commander is the one that's actually sucking up all the rocks and metal and whatnot right here. That's Webby, who is going to be playing with a Cortex bot lab here on the front line. Okay, not bad. Either way, regardless of which commander gets all that metal right here, the fact that it's going back to the red team is obviously a huge advantage. An extra 1,000 units, 1,000 metal worth of units on the front line can mean, well, it can be the difference between winning or losing the front line, that's for sure. It's definitely enough rocket bots that you can start applying pressure all over the place. It's also enough, I guess, yeah, you could probably start a Thug army with that, too. Thugs are, I believe, 140 metal apiece. We can check really quickly right here. At 140 metal apiece, you can start up a couple of Thugs. You can get quite a few of them out there on the field before anything happens. Ooh, losing the Resbots sucks, though. You really do want to keep those alive into the mid-game, because if you keep those Resbots alive, obviously you can go for those very cheeky Thug pushes where you just have 100 Thugs and you resurrect the ones that fall and repair the ones that are still alive. Andy right here in the back line, going for a good old-fashioned eco cheese. It is going to be E-converters after all. We've got, looks like a whopping total of 14 so far. The green commander, similarly here, in the air, or I should say space position, going to be going for a, wind turbine strategy as well here, but as a Cortex commander is a little bit strange. Cortex wind turbine's not as efficient as the Armada ones. That difference has been lightened slowly, but I'll show you right here. You can see the Space Factory. Tier 2 orbital units. They fly extremely high in the sky, make it very difficult to spectate, but very awesome to play with. So we are going to take a look at those eventually as both of these commanders make their way towards that. I would actually expect it, yeah, either of these would have co-opted T2, though. There's no reason why these commanders couldn't have worked together to go into T2, rather than just each of them going into their own thing. But Andy here, ooh, we do have a Resbot out. Okay, Resbot will be used to eat up this commander. It costs, again, 3,300 metal to get into this, and you can see reusages of multiple different units right here, and we'll get into what all these do in just a minute as we see these finishing up, or this laboratory finishing up, and eventually these space forces coming out and onto the field. Very excited. Duncan Card, the Lavender Commander, as well as 26, the Seafoam Green, going to be holding the front line here for the blue team. They managed to push back this front line ever so slightly here. We are allergic to sending our units into combat. Don't want to scratch that beautiful Legion paint. So instead, these Decurion are going to sit back idly and just, yeah, enjoy the show, I suppose. Wow, that construction tower is a huge radius. I think the radius must be turned up on this. Build power of 400 as well. Looks like the build power has been increased as well. Okay, we've got some interesting stuff happening here. We've got a little bit of a repair versus repair versus repair, or repair versus reclaim battle going on here. That's yeah, quite interesting. Oh, and it's lava. Wow, I didn't even notice. Okay, Supreme Isthmus with lava and space units and no air units. Pretty interesting, if you ask me. Stunned here to see the Green Commander still building wind turbines. I really feel like we should have gotten into some sort of tech at this point. We have the Lime Green Commander with the T2 Constructor out on the field. Nowhere near enough build power to actually pump out these units. I mean, I guess we are spending the middle, so that's fine. But yeah, the fact that we do have T2 around. Okay, looks like the Blue Commander has gone into T2. So the fact that this is lava obviously changes things. It means that effectively the Blue Commander is an alternative tech player. And that's exactly what we see here with these construction towers building the T2 metal extractors right there. Also means this brawl in the midsection is not going to be perverted by any sort of ship combat or anything like that. No destroyers on the field or anything harassing the metal extractors on the side. It's just going to be a good old-fashioned brawl, a smackdown of units in the midsection. Man, the Decurions are looking good. Decurions have well found their place into the frontline warfare, general warfare of the meta of Beyond All Reason. It's pretty likely that you'll see them at some point against Legion because they have a lot of HP, do a decent amount of damage. They're a relatively effective unit, all said and done. Dunkar trying to move forward right there. LLTs will scratch up that commander badly, though, and the trailing rockets will tickle down that HP bar just the same. One Decurion fed to the slaughter here for some reason, and we will eventually push it back with a whole bunch of these aggravators.
Commander,
okay, not bad.
Self-destructed.
At this point, we have Napalm available, firing forward right here, and will connect with a whole bunch of these units. The Centurion in a whole lot of trouble. We switch to our beautiful rotatable camera mode. We can see that Napalm burning away at the backs of these units. Rocketeers in a whole lot of trouble. Oh, this was not the trade I think that the Seafoam Green Commander was really hoping for. Decurion, yeah, trying to engage with their teammate as well, but so many of those units went down. With these construction towers with a gigantic reclaim radius, they're going to be able to reclaim all this metal and eat it up and, well, send it back to their team. That's a wonderful start right there for this team. Now we have the Space Force up and running. Constructor is out and going to be, well, assisting the Orange Commander. We already have one of those orbital constructors. There it is, floating high in the sky. Just for some perspective, this is how high they sit. So they are truly orbital. I mean, these things are... they tower above the clouds, these units. They're insane. Super, super cool. Meanwhile, for the Green Commander, no such Space Force. I think waiting for this T2, but going to be a little bit delayed because of it in getting those Space Forces up and running. Meanwhile, T2 Laboratory nearly complete right here for the Maroon Commander, which is quite nice. Did not wait for the T2, instead started up the T2 Lab and a whole bunch of wind turbines on the front line here. Wow. That's actually a lot of wind turbines. I'm surprised that we haven't seen any kind of damage done on these. No scouting. Oh, well that's... So this is a rough moment right here because the Seafoam Green Commander definitely sees this and says, oh my goodness, what a gigantic army they must have. Not realizing that the army is actually 100 wind turbines just sitting idly on the beach right there. Okay. Not bad whatsoever. T2 Laboratory up and running at 2,800 metal. Certainly an expensive one. But now those T2 units are going to roll out of this beautiful laboratory here, and we will see a, looks like a radar and maybe a jammer. Radar and jammer, then what are we going to build after that? Very curious to know what our plan is after these two. Going for a construction buggy is interesting. It can build the highest power of static defense on the front line. It has the ability to build, I believe, yeah, a Nostradamus. Oh no, that's a that's a orbital anti-air, or that's an anti-orbital cannon, not the heat ray tower. Okay, that makes much more sense. Gonna be a T2 constructor. Okay. Playing it safe, not getting extra turbo greedy. We have a rattlesnake thrown together here by the Blue Commander. That's quite nice. We have the epic units turned on as well, so we are going to see a T2 construction tower, an advanced construction tower. There's actually two types of construction towers now. The mod has been updated, so now there's this one, the short range but extremely high build power, super high cost construction tower. 10,000 build power means more, well, it's basically a 1-to-1 ratio of build power to metal, which is an extremely high ratio. And then there's also this one, the advanced one. Much larger radius, but of course quite a bit less build power here. I believe it's, well, 1,200 now. It'd be 600 normally, the build power of 3 construction turrets. It'll be enough to keep things like this Pitbull alive, though. Now that the Pitbull's firing, even more so. Yep. Just like that, that brutal static defense on the front line is going to start blasting away at a bunch of these units. 1 or 2 shotting most of them. The T1 era is by and away far and gone. Yeah, we are well past it at this point here. Orbital Constructor, I see it on the minimap. There it is. Slowly making its way towards this island over here, floating through space to eventually get those T2s up and running. Meanwhile, T2 economy coming up and running in the form of a whole bunch of these wind turbines. These T2 wind turbines, they are basically 10x the cost and 10x the efficiency of regular wind turbines. But on a map like this, that can mean all the difference. Anti-air Lupora, the maroon anti-air flak cannon. They fire a double burst of flak out into the distance, and apparently at a range they can shoot down the drones as they spawn here on the platform, on the hive. Cool to see, because that effectively wastes a whole bunch of metal right here for Donkerer, the Lavender Commander. Oh wow, we are turbo greedy today. Ike, the Green Commander here, has gone into a fusion, and then we're just eco-scaling. Mind you, we're eco-scaling on 2 construction towers here, as well as all these wind turbines that have been set up all over the place. What a greedy strategy, huh? All right. Lime Green Commander Endling also going for a little bit of eco-greed. The Blue Commander also going for some greed. At the very least, Jamakis has gone ahead and thrown down some static defenses to aid the front line and destroying all these units that were lurking around over here. But my goodness, the greed from the blue team. Well, if they can manage to sustain it, if there's no aggression from the red team for a while, which there hasn't been. We're going into more Karkinos, but we haven't really pushed too far forward here on the front line. Yeah, things are going to look quite nice for the blue commanders. They're going to run away with an advantage. Right now, though, it is a red advantage. I have a feeling that's bound to fade as more and more of these units come under fire here. Loads of these wind turbines coming up here. So many of these wind turbines have actually been thrown together already, and the E-converters are coming up as well. The wind turbines here, just for reference, for instance, why don't we select all these and we can see at 7,000, let's try and get it down to 4,000 metal. There we go, about right there. About 4,000 metal producing 1,700 energy. So for reference, a regular fusion reactor is about 4,000 metal and produces 1,000 energy. So almost twice as efficient. 1.7x the efficiency of a fusion reactor when the wind speed is high. They're quite nasty and quite difficult to deal with. And this little construction squad moving forward is so cute as well. Yeah, look at this. We're crawling the defenses forward. You saw him eat that pit bull in the back line here, and we're just going to step forward, claiming the metal extractors, claiming the defenses, putting down pit bulls and rattlesnakes to punish back these T1 units. Yeah, nothing here at all to shut down the T2. You need something like starlights or sharpshooters, anything like that can pop their static defenses before they find value. And the red team just doesn't have it. They didn't invest in any of that. Mantis, the mobile drone carrier, going to be moving forward. Okay. An interesting response right here. Not a terrible one, but definitely an interesting one. Those drones will be flying forward, providing a lot of vision, which is really nice in the front line here, but they're also quite vulnerable. I mean, they're not particularly tanky, and the Mantis, not really a frontliner unit either. It's a shame to see it blasted away so easily right here by the rattlesnake. Almost said pitbull. The red team, not willing to use their units early, now suffering the simple fact of the matter that the blue team ran away with it. Yeah, they said, well, okay, if you're not going to fight us with your units, we may as well just build up a whole bunch of economy and then outproduce you. That feels like exactly what we're seeing right here. So much build power in the front line, repairing everything. These Decurion are basically invincible to all but the burstiest of damage with these construction towers. We do have the Gladiator tanks, which are quite nice. They have a decent burst of damage, firing 3-round burst, but all said and done, it's not that much. And the fact that they're just clumping up right now, doing all that AoE damage, not to mention, of course, being fired at by the Decurion. And the construction towers can just reclaim all this. Turns out the most OP tower in the game is just a construction tower. Yeah. Just repair everything. Just don't take any damage is basically what that boils down to. Not bad at all. Are we ready to start producing actual units at this point? I mean, my goodness, what a scale we have here. We've got all through every scale of economy. We've got fusion reactors into advanced fusion reactors into epic fusion reactors, which are 10x the cost and 10x the production of a regular fusion reactor. We've gone all through the entire eco scale right here for the hot pink or the light pink commander. My goodness. Some grand ambitions right here, but I don't know if we're ever going to see the day. The blue team is just going for the win right now. I mean, we're winning it with effectively T2 static defenses here. The rattlesnakes and pitbulls doing most of the work right now. Yeah, the drone carriers are actually being pretty interesting. They're kind of working as a decent solution to this issue here. They do a decent amount of damage as well. It's not crazy. It's a couple percent per shot. Really need to strategically be targeting down the constructor here, though. This is the catalyst for all the growth on the front line right now, so the fact that we aren't targeting that is a little bit of a blunder. Now the AA turret is up and running, and that'll have a wonderful time shooting these drones out of the sky. Okay. There was a moment here where I think the Mantises might have been able to do it. No longer is that moment upon us. I think we need to go into something a little bit heavier. Prometheus are an excellent option. The Inferno is a great option for sieging big clusters of units and or static defenses. A whole bunch of Phibos sneaking by as well. The previously named Centaur making their way into the backline here. Running on past, a little bit in the lava right there. Not the end of the world though. Yeah, these Phobos are so quick. Super, super difficult to deal with. If you don't have T1 or T2 solutions to these, i.e. fast moving, relatively hard hitting units, Fiends, Sharpshooter, or not Sharpshooters, Fiends or Sprinters or Hoplites, that's the Legion one. Oh, well, here we go. The Fiends finding their value. Yeah, okay. Phobos with a little bit of an APM stall. That is unfortunate to see. How are these economies looking? They're looking stellar. I mean, we really do have a fabulous economy back here. Double APHIS as well as all these wind turbines, T2 wind turbines. We actually just select the wind turbines, you can see. 12,000 metal for 6,000 energy. So 2 APHIS worth of production for 918. So, yeah, about 3/4 the cost. 2/3 the cost, something like that. These Mantas are great, but you really need them in combination. They're not a frontliner unit. They're a siege unit through and through. Just good old-fashioned T1 Decurion blasting away at them. Yikes. Oh, man, the opportunity was there. I want to say the Maroon Commander had a solid shot at holding this, but just produced the wrong unit out of the laboratory. That's what Legion is for. I mean, that's what all these matches are for, rather, is learning what units out of Legion you have to build in what situation. And this one, I think the Prometheus probably would have been the right decision. Very heavy heat ray tank with a little bit of AoE would have been wonderful against these Decurion. Now they've killed the laboratory. Now the T1 maces and whatnot can push through. The T2 wind turbines and E-converters and all the rest of it are in loads of danger. Lupa gonna blow up right in the middle of it. A grand explosion to send home the Maroon Commander and cement a frontline victory here for the blue team. What will our immediate response be? We're sending more Mantises forward. My goodness, we're obsessed with this unit. Don't get me wrong, a fabulous unit. I love the design. I love the drone work. I think that's pretty cool. But not the unit to build in this case. I think Gladiators or Prometheus would be better. Quick Shot's also a good option. I don't mind that. Triton really are your go-to, though. I think everyone should probably think of the Triton as basically the default tank for Legion. It's a little bit hard to wrap your head around because it is amphibious. It is a boat tank, not a underwater tank, though. So it's well worth remembering that that thing is a powerhouse. Super, super effective, and if you're not utilizing it, you probably should start. Not only are they very good, you know, numbers-wise, but they also have a lot of range, which, I mean, I guess it's just one of their numbers, but anyways. Aside from their sheer damage, I guess is what I'm saying. They also have quite a lot of range, which means they can skirmish with other units quite handily. You know, I mean, the drones are doing good. Like, if the drones stay alive, if the Mantis stay alive, you ball up enough of them, then it can be quite difficult to deal with, yeah. Looks like the Brown Commander has some T3 units rolling on the field here. We also have the Yellow Commander has started up their APHIS stack. Pink Commander starting up theirs as well. We have the Fusions cranking out energy, and now we're transitioning into APHIS. Typically, the best way to do this is to actually eat up your Fusion reactors to pay for the APHIS, especially if you have 2 Fusions. You can usually afford that, but there we go. Oh, we're finally ready. Finally, the T2... well, the Space Force got dissolved by the build power here is a little bit funny. Heavy anti-orbital cannon ascends into orbit in order to shut down those Space Forces here. You can see the construction towers deconstructing the Space Force units. It's hilarious. More and more rolling out of the laboratory here. Rising to the heavens. There they go. We have fighters. We also have a couple of these good old-fashioned... Oh, I just realized the fighters and the... No, these are the bats, aren't they? Yeah, the bats and the bombards. Okay, so those are different units. We have the fighters, we have the starfighters, and we also have the siege units, the orbital cannons. Look at them firing down there. Oh, they're so epic. Raining destruction from above. Trying to get a good angle of this. There we go. Firing down at the poor sods beneath them. Raining orbital bombardment from on high. We also have the static defense. The heavy laser static defense, quite effective at shooting these units down at range. More and more of these T1 units trying to push in, but at this point we're up to T3, so the T1 units are not going to cut it. We have the orbitals moving into position here. We have more static defenses coming up and online here as well. We have the static anti-orbital laser arrays firing away here. We do have the AGO in a little bit of trouble. Taking some heavy hits from those orbital barrage cannons. They have to be practically right on top of the enemy they want to fire at, though. They have a very narrow range of fire. Long-range laser defense with orbital cannon. Very nice. So yeah, it can fire down at the ground, and then it can also fire at the units in orbit, which makes it quite good. More and more of these units firing downwards, though. There we go. Every barrage that hits the ground, I mean, it's worth it. Like, they do a decent amount of damage here, and they're headed towards this base. We need some sort of star response. There we go. The starfighters moving into position. A little bit above the file right there of these orbital cannons. There we go. They do roll out there and eventually take care of everything. We have the Lions as well. The orbital assault spaceship with rapid fire anti-laser weaponry. So these are effectively the frigate. Look at that, though. That's just beautiful. The orbital units falling out of the sky and then the others ascending to meet them. What a beautiful view of this game. So gnarly. Zoom in on the action over here. Looks like a big old fighter battle. The frigates as well as the starfighters are going to be able to clear all that up. Loads of constructors in trouble in the backline here. It looks like the... shift back to the regular camera now. Looks like the blue team has mounted their own proper defense. We have the yellow commander. Still with a bunch of starfighters in the backline, but the production right now has gone through the roof. We're building hundreds and hundreds of these zealots, fast orbital fighters with anti-spaceship lasers. These are your your assault frigates. And the blue front line holds on. We have the Dragon's Fury pop-up lightning turrets, which are quite good at dealing with spam. We also have the construction turrets just reclaiming stuff. That's a funny way of utilizing those, but I suppose it works. If you can reclaim your enemy's spam, it's even better than just, you know, killing it. You know the pylum here? I feel like siege units would probably be ideal. Pylum does fall. So this is interesting. You have to set it to air or land. You can put it on land, or you can set it up in orbit right here if you toggle this on and off. We also have some special units. Wait, do we already have them built? Or are we just building them? Oh, that's just the laboratory, isn't it? Oh, I see. Laboratory, a gigantic circle on the map. There are some very epic units that come out of these laboratories. I'm hoping to catch them. What an APHIS stack in the backline as well. We have these super epic energy converters as well, which again are 10 times the cost, 10 times the reward, and explode quite violently, but also are only a single unit, so you may as well go for them. Like they are quite good for scaling the economy and keeping it nice and space efficient. We have the T2, or this is almost like a T3 or an epic construction tower. Going ahead with 10,000, or in this case 20,000 build power is more than enough to build all these on its own. Very, very cool to see. The Mantises still firing forward is hilarious. Chimera firing away as well. That's the pop-up static defense turret here for the Legion faction. Now its miniguns are within range. Going to start blasting away at these fat boys. It does a decent amount of single target damage. Legion is skinned 100 different ways, but effectively all of their units are good at single target damage. They're at Pinnacle T3 defense, their incinerator. Bastion, that's what it's called. Their Bastion. Very, very effective for dealing with spams of units. Their Chimera, also quite good at dealing with spams of units. But they're also not bad at single target either. Somehow they've struck a chord right between the two. Makes them quite effective. The rows of starfighters. I love these rising orbital defense platforms too. Just flying into the air here to do a whole bunch of damage, shooting down whenever they can, and then these orbital cannons that they fire downwards are pretty nifty as well. They can send light projectiles downwards to try and deal with a whole bunch of this stuff. Man, the static defense here is brutal. Look at this setup right here. We've got 6 static defenses, 6 Dragon's Fury pop-up, continuous lightning static defense turrets. Ridiculously powerful. A couple of Saturn make it through. Or Phobos, rather. Looks like we will have... looks like the Lions have made their way across in this direction. The static defense here firing away at whatever it can. Looks like it's melting these nicely. Not nice enough, though. Yeah, I have a feeling these will win this fight eventually here. If they want to. At 1,000 metal apiece, they're quite expensive. However, also quite effective. Orbital defense platform falls out of the sky. Okay. Are we ready for epic units? Is it time for the T3 stuff? It sure looks like it. We built these T3 laboratories and then we didn't produce anything. Looks like the Cyan Commander, Jamalin Hart, the Cyan here on the backline with plenty of APHIS back here, has decided to go for one of these Porcupine, the Orbital Tumbleweed Cannon. These weren't working last time I saw them, so hopefully they've been updated and now they're working properly. We also have the Epic Fusion Reactor up and running, producing 30,000 energy right now. And all that said, we are about dead even. This match still pretty much up to the gills here for both of these teams. Although I will say we have a nice army of, beautiful army of drone carriers out and running right here. The Kaiser, orbital drone platform carrier capable of attacking aircraft and spaceships. Not a worry in this match, of course, as neither team, or both teams rather, have agreed to not go air. In this case, though, still very effective at dealing with these spaceships, it would seem. One of the important things to remember about spaceships is once they accelerate in a direction, you don't change the direction you're moving in unless you enact some sort of force against it. That's why these ships are drifting lazily side to side like that, just conserving fuel. No other reason. Yeah, these drone carriers are quite nice. They're not escorting anything that can hit the ground, though. Whoa. Was that an LRPC? Oh, it was. LRPC is firing away into the backline at this point. Trying to target down whatever they can. Not particularly effective at it, but trying their very best, certainly. Epic Goblin also coming out. Epic Goblins, I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're the best unit in the game, but they're certainly funny to watch. Czar's rolling out on the field, but I love this here, the Vanguard wall. Marching forward here to devastating effect. The Purple Commander knows what they're doing. They're going to start sieging through a lot of this. This Vanguard can do so much damage and so much range. They're basically unstoppable. And they're heading up to this hillside, which basically forfeits this entire base for the Hot Pink Commander, meaning our backline economies are kind of only going to be the last things remaining. We are spending the metal, but just barely here for the Red Commander. Oh, no, there we go. Okay, yeah, we are dumping the metal. That T3 Epic construction tower, quite good for that sort of stuff. I wouldn't mind even seeing these fusion or these wind turbines eaten up just to make more advanced fusion reactors. Still not the end of the world. There we go. We are making our way towards the Iron Sky. Experimental orbital carpet artillery. Do we have anything else working here? Did we end up making one of these? We sure did. Okay. We have the tumbleweed launcher in orbit. And the question, of course, becomes, how does it do? Very curious to see. The static defenses, or the effective static defenses anyway, are all within the T2 field. So if you're not T2, you can't really defend yourself against the orbital units quite effectively. It does make rushing them extremely punishing because they can be very, very difficult to counter. Oh, the AGO went up. I heard the explosion. I couldn't figure out what they were firing at. The AGO pops and it blows up both of these bases here. Man, those Vanguard on that hill are devastating. I have to imagine all the orbital units in the world not going to matter against a dead team. Now that being said, we do have orbital units firing straight down right now on top of the Vanguard. Man, that is cool to see. They take quite a long time to recharge, but once they are recharged, they can fire away here. We have the anti-air, though. Or the anti-orbital. Be careful. Calling out the wrong thing. Ah, here we go. This is the other fun thing, is you can build these solar panels. You can put these solar panels in orbit, and they produce basically half the economy of a fusion reactor. However, of course, because they're effectively a unit, you can position them wherever, and there's no sort of space limitation on this. So this is true infinite energy scaling. For the richest of the rich, this is the pinnacle of eco-scaling, because you simply turn this laboratory on, and all of a sudden you're making bank. You're making huge metal. The blue team just quicker to do it. We have an Iron Sky coming up and running. This one here nearly completed at 85 metal per second. These are super cool. We did get a chance to see some of these. I would even say that despite how cool they are, they're not even the coolest of the T3 units. So hopefully we get to see a catalog of the other ones as well. Some starfighters moving in. It looks like an air battle, kind of, except for the fact that all these are about 1,000,000 miles up above the air. Like, normally air happens around this layer right here. These orbital ships falling out of, well, orbit, fighting well and above the threshold that air usually occurs at. Carrier ships moving out, and again, these are quite nice for dealing with air as well as any other starfighters, but they're not particularly effective against things on the ground. For that, you need other options, like the Porcupine, I think is supposed to be, or the Iron Sky, both of which I think the Red Commander could probably afford en masse. Look at this static defense wall right here. The Green Commander putting so many towers in orbit. We've got the Accelerator, long-range tachyon laser spaceship. Not even static defenses, those are just good old-fashioned units. Ah, there it is. The Iron Sky, I've been waiting for this one. Effectively the VTOL thruster ship that we all know and love, except with a slightly higher altitude. Yeah, the engines have been upgraded to put it a little bit higher in the sky. And now we have pawns. Well, okay. Lightning turret, for whatever reason, not firing continuously here. Aphis stack for the tank commander goes down as well. Man, despite all the beautiful orbital units, despite a fabulous economy, the Red Commander doesn't have anything to deal with any of this. Yeah. Huh. We have this laboratory. We can start producing the Peacemakers, the orbital ground cannons, but you would need so many of these in order to actually effectively counter all this. There we go. Look at this beautiful strafing run. Jamaica's coming in with the whole area strafing run, sending in these, what are they even called? Oh man, sending in the Peacemakers, orbital to ground cannons, firing away a barrage from the high heavens. Huck 1, 2, 3 in a load of trouble at this point. Anti-air boats firing away with their little missiles, as well as their drones firing away their missiles as well. I think it's all missiles.
Commander destroyed.
Wow.
Commander destroyed.
The orbital stack is crazy. Wrong button. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? Seeing those units rain down their death from above, and the encroaching blue horde does make their way forward. At this point, the eco-scaling has far surpassed what the red team was able to do, despite these epic fusion reactors. It is still nothing in comparison. T3 Laboratory was produced. We're making rats, the brick with the giant gun. Very effective, I will say, but the Razorbacks here are going to be quite a bit better at accurately killing this swarm. T3 air units moving in. What do we have over here? Oh yeah. What a battle. The Inquisitor ganging up on the Punishers here. Still will not matter. Oh, there it is. There it is. There's our beauty. Firing high into the sky and raining down on the poor souls below. Oh, man. Not long before those shells start to land on top of the shield here for the Yellow Commander. This battle is crazy. This capital ship really needs to start focus firing. We do have double layers of shielding right here for the... Oh, Yellow Commander. One of those APHIS is exposed, actually. Oh, no. The weak link in the armor. Boom! Goes the entire yellow base because a single APHIS was just barely outside of the shield. It just had a radiator pipe sticking out the side, but it was all it took to blow the entire stack. Oh, man. And just like that, the Yellow Commander loses it all. More and more bubble shields coming up right here, but frankly speaking, this is an awful situation for our red heroes. We have more and more of these air constructors coming up. I'm not sure what we're planning right here, but we've got loads of these coming up. The T2 constructors ascending to the high heavens. We've got the Iron Sky completely surrounded. Similar to other capital ships, it's essentially defenseless on its own. It's got powerful siege weapons, but aside from those, it really doesn't have much. It will eventually fall. Okay. The issue here is the gigantic blue economy. We're putting most of it into spam at the moment here, but we are devoting some of that resource back to space, which is cool. We have these laboratories producing these T2 orbital solar collectors, 2,000 metal, 500 energy. You just produce as many of those as you well please. The orbital launchers firing away here. Multiple of these capital ships firing towards the red units, but ultimately just more really than anything else hitting their own units on the ground. Legion construction tower turret here, by the way. Construction, advanced metal extractor and construction turret. Has a little bit of build power, a little bit of range. Nothing like the 10,000 metal epic construction turret that was set up right here, though, for some reason. Oh. Well, that's not supposed to happen. Oh, I see. They're firing at the thing on the ground. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, these fighters not meant to be able to hit anything on the ground. They were attacking one of these static defenses that was grounded. It kind of feels like you should be able to pull those out of orbit in order to not have them be attacked, right? I wonder if there's a way to do that. All of this is a mod, by the way, so don't expect to be able to do this in the default game. Really, the only place you're ever going to be able to do this in an organized manner is on the live streams, which are, again, Saturdays 12 to 4 PDT. You're more than welcome to join in on the chaos and enjoy some Space Forces. The eco here not having grown for Andy for quite some time, and I think that does spell the end eventually, inevitably. It's one of those things where you can kind of always have the eco growing by just having this set to produce these orbital solar collectors with a couple of construction turrets, towers. You can sort of have a passive eco growth, which is the dream of any commander, is the ability to just not spend any APM leveling up your economy. I don't think it's going to matter here, though. So many fighters swarming around the units right now. We have these Lions in tons of trouble, trying to fire away at whatever they can here, but the starfighters
Destroyed.
will go down. A beautiful explosion right there as we watch those epic APHIS explode into particular atomized mist. And the blue team manages to push for the victory with those orbital weapons platforms. Thanks a ton for watching. If you enjoyed this mod, show your support with a like and a subscribe down below. And of course, feel free to tune in to check this mod out. We will definitely be playing a whole bunch more of it. It is super, super cool. Thanks a ton to the mod makers out there as well. There's a whole contributor list of them. They're out in the Discord, which I will link down below in the description section. and I hope you had a wonderful time. And I will see you in the very next game of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.